welcome to what is possibly the first episode of my podcast. It will be probably all about knitting, because I do that a lot. Today is Sunday and I'm coming from Clarksville, Tennessee, where I'm ending my vacation for Christmas, the holidays. I've been knitting for 1.5 years and I just love it, and it's what I do for all of my free time. I wanted to start a podcast because, well, first, I love podcasts. I'm always listening to one or watching one on YouTube, and I just miss being around knitters more often, but you know, COVID, so. I am wearing a shawl by Suvi. Last name, I forget. It's called a Sketchbook shawl. I'll have, you know, any information on my show notes. It is made, well, it's supposed to be 2 skeins of this yarn that I picked, but I ended up using mostly 1 skein. So here we started on this end. Then just have a bunch of yarn overs and knit togethers, pearls and knits, not too hard. And then this part I did a modification because I made a mistake and I just moved on instead of correcting it. It was all supposed to be, the rest of the shawl was supposed to be all like this, but I just kept on knitting and purling, and then I realized that I should not have done that. I should have just looked at the pattern instead of thinking that I knew it by heart. And you know, I just kept on going, and then I did some decreases in, you know, the type of pattern. And here I have a little mistake. You can all see now. And it's long and I love it. It's like a nice hug. And it is really mostly 1 skein. Let's see, where did I change my... I can't tell where I changed my yarn, but you know, mostly 1 skein, almost till the end. Love it. 100% wool, warm. I think that the pattern calls for some sort of linen or cotton, but I wanted it for work because it's always cold at my office. Even though I have a heater on, I'm always cold. So, wool. Let's see, I have this nice little pouch here where I keep my first knitting notebook that my friend Jane gifted to me, and I just keep here, you know, yarn and tags of the yarn so I can keep track and always go back to it. So this one is Ultra Wool Fine 100% Superwash Wool, right there. Morocco. Just nice to work with. I have 0 complaints and I would totally use it again. I think this color is snow. White goes with everything, so I can just keep this one at work if I want to. Other FOs that I have, I made this one for my husband during the summer while he was away for work, so he would not see me knitting, but it's huge. It's called the Cambridge jacket. It's done with Malabrigo, Rios, in Bobby Blue. And the pattern, I think I've already said pattern, Cambridge jacket. It's huge on me because, you know, it's his size, not mine. And it's knit flat. You start with the back, you do the left front and the right front. I think after that you do the sleeves, then you do the neck, then with a crochet hook with a simple stitch that I forget the name, you just do the border. Super easy. And then I can't remember if they give you instructions on how to sew the zipper, but that's really easy to find online. They do give you some tips, I believe. Okay. And here is the zipper. I let him pick the yarn. I just told him, pick some of this yarn. Online. Pick a color. Oh, this is the reuse that I used for the jacket. Malabrigo, Bobby Blue, super wash, soft, nice to use. I already knew that he liked this, the way this feels, because of another sweater that I have. And well, he picked it and he was amazed that I was able to do this without him noticing, but he was away for the summer for work. So I did this and I'm very happy with it. Fits him well. It's because of the ribbing, it doesn't, I mean, it's even though he wears mostly fitted shirts and fitted jackets and fitted things in general, you know, t-shirts and all that, you know, even though this is shaped like a rectangle, because of the ribbing, it just adapts to, you know, whoever is wearing it, I guess. Yeah, very easy. You don't knit it around ever. This is all sewn right here. Can almost tell just because I have the creases. If I didn't have the creases, you wouldn't be able to tell. Yeah. And let's see. Oh gosh, and then I have a ton of socks. I did my first pair. I'll show you my first pair if it's here. It isn't here, never mind. Well, it's not a very nice pair of socks. I mean, it has no ribbing. It was all knits. And then short row heel. And maybe short row toes. I don't know, can't remember. I don't think so. No, I think there's just the creases. Anyway, it was made with this yarn that I bought at Black Mountain store in Montreat, or near Montreat, North Carolina. And I still have that yarn. I use it mostly for whenever I need a little scrap. It's mostly blue and white with some speckles of different blues and different purples. And then after that, my mother-in-law gifted to me some Madelinetosh. Love some Madelinetosh. She has beautiful colors. And I tried to do the vanilla socks by Crazy Sock Lady, but I decided to change them and add a little bit of lace. Well, they were too wide because, you know, lace holds more area per stitch count. So, and not enough ribbing. Look at such a little ribbing on top. That was a mistake. Now I have learned my lesson. I did a heel flap. I did my lace, which, I mean, I really like, but it's supposed to be leaves. But then because of that, I had to add some ribbing to the bottom there, like compression socks, so that they would not slip off my foot. and that was half a skein of Madeleine Tosh was good for one pair, and for the other half I wanted to do the lace again, but I wanted to fit me, so I went to Ravelry and I looked for some short socks with lace, and I got these called Wendee, and they just have like a chevron type of lace and they fit well, and they also have a heel flap, which I really like because my first socks were done with short rows and they don't fit me as well. These are less slippery. I like how they fit. And this was done with Tosh stock. The color is Lost in Trees. And yeah, here it is, the tag for that. After this, I did a shawl for my godmother and aunt, Clara, with the diagonal lace. Well, shawl, I should say wrap. I don't know. A sharp scarf. And I used this super soft gray for it. You can check the projects at my Ravelry page, because I do mostly gifts. I wanted to be slightly more selfish. After that, I did some Maed, Jessie Maed designs, and they were gorgeous. And I did some socks, Father's New socks as well. Then I did this cute hat that was supposed to be for my father-in-law with colors of the university he went to, but there was a problem. It doesn't fit him, but it does fit my mother-in-law, so it's still in use. Gifted for Christmas. After that, I made these cute baby booties to give to my husband's cousin. She's having her third boy, and it was my initiation onto cables. Just some easy little cables right there. It has some eyelets where you can put this I-cord. Also very easy to do. And apparently this I-cord is very important because it prevents the little booties from you know, falling off of the baby's feet. And my mother-in-law has made a hat with the same yarn, so it's like a little set, goes together. So I really like the Wendee pattern, right? And I decided to make with Yavel, which is, let's see, what is the content of this? Cotton stretch 4-ply superwash. The color is this peach that they have that turns into a whitish. It's 45% wool, 35 cotton, 13% nylon, 7% polyester. Socks is the only thing that I want for sure to have nylon in it. This is the Wendee pattern, again with the chevron, again with the heel flap. And it's super cushiony heel flap. I wish you could feel it. Just different. It's a 4-row repeat, I think. Let's see how it goes from like a light peach color to a white end. And I made another pair just like this smaller size for my friend Samantha. My friend Jane also started me on some Afterthought Socks. So basically it's like a tube of this blue, comes, you know, like this, just a tube, no gray, and then you cut it, which was a little bit scary, but not very hard. Then you do the ribbing and the heel, but in this case you cannot do a heel flap, and then your toes. And I have that pair. Now I love my wool socks. I wear them to work all the time because it's so cold. And I think that's all of the FOs I have right now, at least with me. I did do a pair of socks for my husband for his birthday, but they were too short, terribly short. I needed to knit probably like 3 more centimeters, an inch and something. So it's Afterthought Socks again. But notice what I had to add onto the heel. So basically I did this just like I did these, but then I had to cut my toes, knit this more in a really dark Yavel blue, and then sew in the toes. So you can tell there's a line right here where these have been sewed in. And they look kind of funny, like the tube is, you know, tighter because it's machine knit. But then when you use your #1 needles, it just gets a lot wider. But when you put it on, it just feels good. This is not too loose and this is not too tight, and it just keeps the socks in place. Other things that I'm knitting. I am doing a sort of friend knit along with my mother-in-law, and we're doing the red cedar slippers. And this is it. I have a heel. Looks kind of silly down here because of the heel flap. I've never worn these actually. I mean, I've tried them on, but heel flaps. I just love heel flaps. They're easy to do. And then here for the contrasting color, I went to my stash and I used some of the Bobby Blue. And then it has this little braid here. They're not too hard. I always try to do something that like teaches me a new technique, or I don't know, an adventure of some sort. And I've learned a lot from these. It's only my second color work too, but I just love this cuff. Notice how thick that is. It's so cushiony. They're fantastic. Can't wait to wear these. I'm on my second one now. Started knitting it, I think, yesterday. Yeah. And I already have probably 2 inches. So this is how you start. The cuff is super long. Like you first do the part with no contrast color, then you do the part with the contrast color, then you flip it. And that's why it is so thick and cushiony, because I mean, you have 2 of these. Yeah. I am also designing my first sweater. I think most people do this after they've knitted for a lot of years, but there's something I want and I cannot find anything exactly like it on Ravelry. So I am doing my first design. It is done in Malabrigo, I believe, as well. This glorious pink with a few browns. I just love it. Makes me think of fall. I already picked a name for it. The sweater, I mean. Let's see, where is my tag for this yarn? Since I finished this notebook, I have bought a new one. And color is Juniper. It's Malabrigo yarn again, Rio's again. I think it's 100% merino superwash. Has my notes. Oh, and for the red cedar slippers, I got the Plymouth Select DK merino superwash. This right here. Can't remember the color. What's the color? Chipmunk? Heather. Well, that's a cute name. I just love yarns that are named. I think that's it when it comes to whips. Now there are some things that I want to cast on. There are some things for which I have no yarn yet. Some for which I have yarn, but I don't know what to cast on. So, let's see. I am going to be doing this ire? I don't know if that's correct. But it's a cute hat that my friend Jane bought a pattern for me to use, and she got me the yarn too, exactly the yarn that is in the picture here. And that is this beautiful blue. And the brown, that's the most prominent of the contrast colors. And the white. Because they were like mini skeins, I put them in here on the bow that she used to wrap the present. Just thought that would be easier to use. And then I'm going to do a shawl, I think, with this yarn that's called Hideous Screaming Death. It glows in the dark, like all of these like green parts glow in the dark, which I think it's kind of fun. I don't know how they do it, but it's kind of fun. It was also gifted to me by my mother-in-law. I have not decided the design yet, so if you have any ideas, please write on the comments below. And then I have this one that, oh, I wonder if it's, oops. The color is Mallard, like the deck. It's like a turquoise, greenish color, silky wool, right there. Hope you can read this tag. And that, I know what I'm going to use for. It's going to be for a Park Williams design. She has such cute designs. But I cannot remember the name of it, so I have to look for that. I'll put it in the show notes. but it's this cute top, sleeveless, with you know, the neck is like right there, and then it has this like pattern for the sleeves. I think it has cables going down there, and it's a slim fit, I think, type of top. It's very cute. I wanted to do it with a darker green, but I bought the yarn online, and the color on my screen looked like an emerald, like bottle green, but I ended up with this turquoise kind of color. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna knit it. I have like 2 or 3 things with this color. I have these pants that are tight fitting and they're mostly gray, but they have just the tiniest like stripes with this color. So I think it will really go well together. And I think that's all for cast-ons. Then I think, well, let me show you this thing that I have over here. This is leftover. That is not enough to make anything scrappy. And it has like some of my yarn and also some of the leftover lines that I use for knitting, sorry, not knitting, sewing. And just a little jar, but I thought I'd just keep all of this here. And then one day, and I'll just, you know, keep adding to it. One day it will be like, there's a word for this, you know, what happens with the ground where you can see all of like the periods of time, you know, with the colors of earth, dirt, and it's just gonna be this, you know. You can see that I did these socks, and then there's something in pink, then there's something with blue, and then something with the other color, and then mallard on top. Yes. And I thought I'd show you some of the bags that I have. So first, I have this cute little bag that I got from an interior design event that my office attended, and that's where I keep my little notebook so it doesn't get ruined. Then I have a series of llama bags that my husband gifted to me last Christmas. I have this huge one where I keep all other bags inside. I have this little one that has, what does it have in here? I think some needle stoppers from Coconuts. Oh, actually, it's the other sock I have to fix. Okay, notice this heel, normal sized heel, and then the amount I had to add. It's ridiculous. How did I get it so wrong? It's so silly. Anyway. Then inside here, I just have like a ton of needles. I have this cute little bee bag, and this one does have the coconut stoppers right there. Whoops. These were all bought in Nashville at the House of Yarn. This one has a tougher zipper than the rest of them. And then I have this one where I keep everything else. It can stand on itself, which is something fantastic. It has the cute little llamas. Then inside I just have scissors. Tape that has both inches and centimeters. Some row markers, some stitch markers, some like I have a crochet needle, like cable needle, a ton of tapestry needles for weaving ends. Sorry for the noise. And it's usually where I also keep my loop fill, ruler, centimeters and inches, and where you can measure your needles, because the letters on the needles are just so tiny. sometimes it's very hard to read. Might as well use this. And sometimes the numbers just wear off. So it's very useful. Then I have some other bags. This one was also from the interior design event. It's super cute. It's made with like some upholstery fabric, very thick. Then I have this one that my mother-in-law gave me with this little things to tie, and where I'm keeping some more yarn and and the parts of the sweater I'm making. And then I have this one that my friend Jane gifted to me from Espace Tricot. I take it basically almost everywhere. And then I have this huge one that was a Christmas present this year from my sister-in-law and her husband. And it's huge. It has space for yarn that I have removed to make this episode. A huge bag place here where I can put like all my bags. Some pockets on the side where I can just put my little notebook in. Both sides. This one is see-through, and it has the strap that I can, use to just, take this everywhere. And it has these things. It's kind of cool, where like you can keep your yarn in the bag, especially if it's like a huge project, and then you can just put the yarn through these holes. Of course, this creates a problem. If you want to carry the project somewhere else and not use this bag, you'd have to cut the yarn or use it till the end of your skein. It's not ideal, but it's a nice idea they have. And then it has this huge bucket in the front too, where I can keep all of your needles, and it's kind of messy. Let me show you. Okay, so this is a needle set that I have. All bamboo needles. I like some wood for some fabrics, and then I like metal for like more rustic things. And then it has this for all my other needles. It's very useful. I've used it every day. Keeps everything tight together. I like it. I don't know the brand though. Oh, Hoshin. Never heard of it. I'll just write it on the show notes. I'll try and write everything on the show notes, and if there's something I forget, please remind me, and I apologize. And these are my Takumi combo clover. So here are all the cables. Oh, I'm using some of these, so they're all not here. Not all here. And the needles, and I'm using the 4s and the 7s. It starts, I think, on a 3 and goes all the way to a 10.5. Very useful. And I think that's it. Oh wait, no. Silly me. I wanted to tell you about some podcasts. Just, name some podcasts that I've been watching or listening to, or will start watching or listening to. Let's see. I have listened to the Knitterviews by Vogue Knitting. That's an audio podcast. And I think those are over. They just interviewed a bunch of designers, well-known designers, like Hohi or Stephen West and others. Then there's a new podcast called Make Good. I think they have 7 episodes right now. And then there's Knitpicks. They have like over 300 episodes. These are all audio podcasts. And they just talk about a bunch of different things. Yarn, socks, things that they have in their store, techniques, just tips and tricks, all sorts of things. They have lots of episodes, so you can like binge that. And then I started watching knitting traditions. It's done with by a Norwegian woman. She's a doctor. She's 26. I forget her name. I think it starts with an I. I have watched the first episode and part of the second episode. I haven't finished it yet, but I really enjoyed it. Then Grocery Girls, I've also started watching that recently. Lots of episodes there too. They're just fun. Then the crazy sock lady, her name is Kay. She just traveled all over America. She does these podcasts. These are like on YouTube. She does these podcasts where she mostly shows her socks and the yarn that she has. She has lots of yarn. She has a huge stash. And then she also talks about her life a little bit, her children and her husband and all of their traveling and moving. Then Caddy Jack's Knits, super fun. They started doing the podcast together. It's two ladies. I think they're both living in Wisconsin at first, and then one of them, Caitlin, moved to Knoxville, which is where I am living currently. They do this thing called bingo every New Year's. Lots of fun. You can win prizes. Where, you know, instead of numbers, it's like cables. Have you done anything with cables? Do you have an FO with color work or with cashmere, or, you know, just fun. And then Espastrico, but I think that they've stopped making podcast episodes like 9 months ago. It's a shame. They do beautiful knitting. Gorgeous, like elegant, timeless basics, you know, beautiful things. And then my friend Jane, she's the one that has recommended most of these to me, also told me to start watching Knitting Posse and Knitting Place. I have not yet, but I plan to. And yeah, so I think that this is it, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your patience. My first episode, so, you know, it's all kind of messy, jumbly. I don't know. We'll see. I hope there's a second one, because I've been wanting to do this for a while, but, you know, just never happened. And on Instagram and on Ravelry, my name is daytodaysara. Sara is my name. I am from Portugal. I'm coming from Clarksville. And yeah, well, I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a year filled with health, and yeah, just joyful year, hopefully. All right, guys, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.